Yo, what's going on, guys? We are back again with a new video. Hope you guys enjoy. Today we're going to go through the preseason round 1 trials and basically a couple players I enjoyed for each team and how they look. Hopefully we're going to get through this really quickly. I like doing rapid sort of videos, and as you guys know if you've followed the channel before, but also if I miss any sort of players, I'm going to miss quite a few players. So this is why I like you guys commenting down below, and we'll have a discussion of all players that you actually really enjoyed as well. So let's do this together. I'm excited to do this video. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Most of it's going to be very raw, hopefully not too much editing. So I hope you guys enjoy this sort of format of video. So the first game, we are going to talk about the Warriors versus Tigers. If you haven't seen my Warriors round 1 preseason update and all that sort of stuff, I'm going to be doing 1 game a week for the Warriors, like a talking sort of session called Wild Talk. So do check out that. I've already done a video on that. So basically, just want to talk about the Tigers. And the main one I want to talk about is Stefano, who I think had a massive game in this one. Really excited for his season coming up. The guy has so much potential. He's got a potential to be like a Payne Haas sort of player. Hopefully to crack to the blue squad very shortly. And I just thought he was probably the standout for the Tigers team this weekend. The Tigers didn't really have too many big performers. I was kind of disappointed with Tommy Talau in this one, but the guy has so much potential. So if you're a fantasy sort of player, Stefano Otaikamanu seems to be the player to watch for the Tigers. All right, so the second game of the weekend, we had the Sharkies beating the Knights 28-16 in a really weird sort of contest, especially when you saw the team list paper. The team list the Knights ran out with. I expected the Knights really to do really good work in this one, but the Sharkies had a great performance here to get the big win. I thought the Knights looked really nice when Jacko Hastings and all that was there. Obviously, a couple of drop balls and errors really hindered them from getting anywhere. Tyson Gamble had a really decent showing as well, scoring a try in this one. I thought he had a decent showing. As soon as the Knights big boys all came off, you know, FOOTY boys and all that sort of stuff, the Knights took hold of this game, and the biggest performer for the Sharkies in this one was definitely Hutchison. I thought he played amazing in this one. A couple other guys, you had Thomas Hazelton, who had a really nice game as well, 128 meters, 5 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, a really good game from him and a try. So that's a good knock for him. And I thought Nrl was a really good player in this one as well. So definitely watch out for those names. I thought the Sharkies had a really good performance, especially in a preseason. They came out, they followed their game plan, sort of the way like the Warriors followed their game plan. I thought the Knights had a lot of errors in this one. I think they'll fix a lot of that up. I'm really keen to see their full strength team in the next lineup for the next rounds. So for the third game, we had the Manly Seagulls beating the Rabbits 30-28 in a really good showing for the Manly Seagulls. But I think the biggest talking point out of this game was the Rabbits, and the number 6 for the Rabbits, Terapa, had a really nice game. I thought he was very silky. You could tell this man's been working with Cody Walker. Really good player to watch. I'm really excited to see what he's got coming up. For Manly, I thought Cooper Johns was really good in this one. You had Vega, who was really nice. And then you had Tui Pelotu, who had a really good game here. Over 200 meters running and 5 tackle breaks. Really good showing from those guys. I thought Manly came out and it was very back and forth. The Rabbits end up getting the hand in the second half and then Manly bringing it back at the end. So really good showing from both these sides. I'm really excited to see their full strength teams next week. Continuing it on, we had the Panthers versus the Eels next, and we had the Panthers beating the Eels 22-16. Both running out with mainly development players. I thought the Eels, you know, they had Josh Hodgson, they had Ryan Madison, a couple other players. Sean Lane started the game a little bit, but you know, with the Panthers team, I was really excited to see Isaiah Iongi really come out in this one, but unfortunately going out with a head assessment. Hopefully he's doing well. Concussions is such a big part of the game these days. Tommy Jenkins was definitely another player I'm definitely excited to see. He was really good in this game, had some really nice movements with a really great intercept for that try. I thought it was really interesting seeing Taruva play center. I really don't think that's his position. I really stuck to him being a fullback. Really good fullback at that. I think he just needs a lot more space with him, like the way he moves and stuff, but who knows, the Panthers can make anything out of anyone at the moment, so definitely one to watch there. With the Eels, I thought they weren't that great in this contest. They had a lot of errors. I thought the partnership of Arthurs and Rankin could have been a lot better than what it was in this game. A lot of errors between those boys, even though they play a lot with each other in New South Wales Cup. The only one, so the new centre they got from the Tigers, Sini, I thought he actually had a really good game in this one. I'm really excited to see how he goes with the Parramatta Eels. Definitely there is a spot there for him. It's whether he can crack that spot. I think the left center spot that's next to Sivo is open for grabs. So we'll see how they go there. Moving on with the Dragons St. Helens, and really there's not much for me to touch in this game. I thought it was a very hot and cold performance from the Dragons. I don't want to touch on St. Helens too much because I don't watch a shit ton of Super League. There's a couple players I do like out of Super League, like Wellesby. I think he's like NRL ready whenever he wants to come over. But then again, a lot of Super League boys that are outside backs and that can come over to NRL and not perform the same sort of way as they do in the Super League. I think Super League forwards are really good to buy off of, and maybe hookers and stuff, because they're a lot more like, as a difference, there's not too big of a difference in the game. And like the Super League forwards are like really grimy. They can do really well in NRL contests. I think just the skill deficit between the NRL backline and all that sort of stuff, and the difference between playing in the heat over here can change the backline sort of players and that. But with the Dragons, you know, a couple of good performances. I want to see a lot more out of Matt Fagai, you know, the Fagai brothers. I thought they were like really, really good. I thought Matt was really, really good in this one. Obviously, Maxi wasn't able to play in this one, but Matt was really, really good. Put a massive shot on, who was it? Curtis Sirenen in this one, you know, even though I think St. Helens scored a try off it. Obviously, the Dragons fullback, can't remember his name. I wish I wrote it down in this one. Had a bit of a hot and cold game, but I saw a little bit out of his performance there. But again, if you're a Dragons fan, please comment down below your thoughts on this game, who you really saw. I didn't really take too much notice of this game, to be honest, but definitely really hot and cold performance for the Dragons here. Moving on to a couple of games on the weekend. So we had the Storm versus the Roosters. We had the Roosters getting over the top of the Storm, 32-24. Main people that I really watched in this one for the Roosters was, obviously we want to see Brendan Smith, and I thought he had a hot and cold game. He had a really nice try assist in this one, so really good to see him put on a really good like flat ball to Radley for his try. Sammy Walker I thought was really exciting. He was a bit everywhere in this one, but had a really nice try assist for Jackson Paulo, and I think you're going to see a lot of it this season coming up. For the Storm, we got Fa'alongo, who I'm really excited for this season. If he can even crack into that starting squad, I thought the Storm, like that Storm fullback was unreal, man. Like he was so good. Obviously coming off with being winded in between that game with a big shot there after making a massive break. Coming back on and scoring that massive try, like, you know, that kid's got so much potential. Definitely watching out for him. I did want to see Jack Howarth in this one. Unfortunately, weren't able to see him. And Eli Qatar, I wanted to see a little bit more out of him, which was really unfortunate. But I think the biggest news out of this one was Justin Olam coming away with an injury. He's going to be out for, I think, 9 to 10 weeks from what I saw. Maybe 8 weeks. Definitely check up on that as well. So next up with the Raiders and Doggies, we had the Doggies getting over the Raiders 34-18. And a couple players I was really excited for in this one. Kyle Flanagan had a really decent game here. He got the boys around the park really nicely. Joshy Reynolds came out with a whole lot of energy. It was good to see him back out in the park. The player that really excited me in this one, to be honest, and I think it was a little bit different to a lot of other boys had their top players, and that was Jackson Topine. He had a really, really good game. Definitely had a little bit of speed to him. They played him at center for a little bit there, even though he came on as like a second row forward, back row forward. He was always finding his way through the defense, finding his way through a couple of tackles there. He was really exciting to watch, and I really think this season he could get a decent crack, especially with the team that he's got going on there. Hopefully he finds a bench spot, because I think his energy would be really big off the bench. Obviously, a couple other big names there. Franklin Bele looked fucking massive. That man has not put the weights down, and he has looked bigger than ever. But actually having a really good game here. I think he got over 140 meters in this one. And a try assist and a nice try setup. I thought he was really big in this performance. Obviously, he looked like a man, a man with boys here. Like when I saw him on the field, I was like, no fucking way. You couldn't miss him, the big 30 on the field. And Jacob Preston is looking like someone that I want to watch for the future. He's really, really good. Seems like a really grimy player. Always in the contest. Definitely a player I want to watch out for in the future. So definitely keep an eye on Jacob Preston. For the Raiders, there was a couple of decent performances here and a couple of performances that I wish Trey Mooney probably had a better game than what he actually did. Because I do rate Trey Mooney. I do think he's going to get a decent spot in the Raiders top 30. I think he may even get a cracker bench spot, or even like push for that 13 role, depending on, you know, because Corey Horsburgh or Gula is definitely coming up there. But, you know, a little bit of time, I think Trey Mooney is going to get that 13 role. But I thought Brad Snyder had a really, really good game in this one. He looked awesome. Unfortunately, we saw the matchup with, well, not the matchup, the combination of Brad Snyder and Jackie Whiten last year. It didn't work amazingly. Obviously, that was going through their slumps of like getting up to a lead, then losing the game, or, you know, all that sort of stuff. So it was really unfortunate to see that. But in the trial in this one, Brad Snyder looked amazing. I think other teams would definitely be looking at this guy because I think he's got a whole lot of potential. Elijah Anderson was another one that had a really decent game for me. I thought he was really, really nice. And then again, the Raiders have got a lot of good backline players, more so winger players. And the biggest story out of this one is Xavier Savage breaking his jaw and going out for, I think his massive chunk of the season. It was pretty much a clean break from the x-rays I've seen. So really unfortunate there. I hope you're doing well, my brother. But that's another thing with the Raiders now is they got to find a fullback. Maybe Harley Smith-Shields could push out to the wing, and Jordan Rapana would probably be the one that they go with, the way that Raiders usually go about it. But we'll have to see how they go with this one. And coming up to the last couple of games, we had the Cowboys versus the Dolphins, ending in a 22-all draw. I thought Jack Bostock was really, really good in this one. I'm really excited to see how he goes. Really tall, rangy winger. Could play center as well from what I've heard with Rugby League Guru. But I do rate him as a winger as well. I've seen him in the under-19s Blues squad, and he performed really well in that as well. So definitely a player to watch. Maybe could crack that wing spot. Not too sure how the Dolphins will line up because I'm not too sure if Tafare may even get the lineup. Seeing that Ewan Aiken had a decent showing in this one, and Tessie New seems to be that other pick for that other center, judging by the lineups here. But hopefully Tafare gets a spot there because I think Tafare's got so much potential. Didn't have the best game in this one, but he's just got so much potential. Next player I want to touch on is Ray Stone. I thought Ray Stone, had a massive effort game here. It's definitely what you want to see out of Ray Stone coming back off an ACL injury. Hopefully he cracks that 13 spot role and pushes maybe Tommy Gilbert up to the front row, or, who knows how they go about that lineup there. Maybe he could be the best 14 off the bench as well because his energy, his effort is definitely all there. All busted up, but making big tackles in this game, ending with 32 tackles and no misses in this one. Isaiah Katoa, other than that big drop to start the game, I thought he actually had a decent performance. A couple of really nice touches there. Definitely a halfback to watch coming into this year. I really think that he'll probably get that halfback role over Sean O'Sullivan within the next, maybe 5 to 6 games in the season. I really honestly believe that. I think Sean O'Sullivan's a decent player, but I think he's a decent backup half. Isaiah Katoa definitely looks like the future. It's just whether they want to rush him in now or later. I'm really excited to see if we see more of him this year. With the Cowboys, we had Tom Chester, who had a really, really great game. Definitely could play anywhere on the park, fullback, maybe in the halves, that sort of stuff. So maybe could get a 14 role as of Rugby League Guru saying the other day. I definitely agree with that. He's definitely got a big chance. Robert Derby had a really nice game in this one, had a big break. He nearly got chased down by Ewan Aiken. If it was about 5 meters longer, Ewan Aiken would have got there, but really good performance from him with 2 great tries. And Sadrugu and Namo had some really good showings in this one, both getting over 200 meters, both really nice forwards. And the Cowboys seem to get all these forwards at the moment. It's really, really nice to see. So they got some depth there. All right, and to end off the video, we have the Broncos versus the Titans with a 24-all draw. First half was 24-6. Definitely the Broncos are running away with it in that sort of way, but really well done for the Titans to bring it back in. I thought Tanner Boyd had a massive game here. He was awesome. I thought Keanu Keeney is definitely the talk of the town at the moment. I thought he was amazing, looked electric. I thought Weaver was really, really good as well. So the Titans seem to always have these really good halves here. It's just whether they can get to NRL and they can continue to develop into really good players and not be the scapegoat, unfortunately. But I thought Khan Pereira looked electric as well. There were so many other players, like Jojo Fafita looked really, really nice. It was really good to see Dave Fafita get out there and get some minutes under his legs coming into the season. A really good sign that apparently he asked the coach he wanted to play this game. So I think the Titans are actually in really good steads here. We're going to see a full strength team next week and see a lot more of these full strength squad, which I'm really, really excited for the Titans this year. Definitely with the lineup. I'm excited for Tanner Boyd getting the big crack there too. Him and Dave Fafita definitely they've been playing with each other since they were young kids. I'm excited to see that connection again this year, and I thought he definitely had the better performance out of him and a couple of other halves. But then again, Weaver had a really good game as well. With the Broncos, obviously, Reece Walsh looked electric, but I just saw a notification just before that he may miss game 1 this year due to a fracture. Facial fracture, so that's really unfortunate, but he definitely looked electric in this one. I think he's in for a big year. He's going to be a superstar, this kid. I really think so. Knowing him from the Warriors, he was one of our best players, well, definitely our best player for the last couple of years, or top 3 player last couple of years. I'm really excited to see him under a really good forward pack with the Broncos and a really good system with A couple of really decent halves there with Adam Reynolds and that, putting him in a really good position. Ezra Mam whacking Fafita was definitely a big fucking plus for Ezra Mam. I think he's in for a big year this year. Everyone always discussed with Ezra Mam his defense. I actually think he's not too bad of a defensive player. Maybe his reads aren't amazing, but his contact's always been good. I thought last year, we all saw Kurt Catewell actually had a massive shoulder injury coming into the last end of the year from Origin onwards, and he was missing about 5 tackles a game. It's really hard for Ezra Mam to actually contend in defensively if his second row is not doing a lot of work. And I thought Jordan Pereira had a really good crack in this one, a really good game. He's definitely a very complete winger. Definitely can have a couple of errors in him, but I thought he was really, really good. He probably won't crack the starting squad, obviously, with Corey Oates and Cobbo, definitely. And, you know, they've got so many other young juniors coming through that look really, really nice. So it's really unfortunate. Maybe he can get a crack in another club, but I'm not too sure. It's really unfortunate with Pereira because I really rate him. And lastly, I thought Tristan Saylor, definitely off the last couple of trials, he's looked really, really nice. Setting up that try for Jordan Pereira, he had a beautiful kick to the corner. I thought he was pretty good in this one as well. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoy my quick review on the weekend. I wanted to make this quick, sweet, and simple, but definitely jump in the comment section. I'm keen for a discussion on all type of players. I got a whole lot of them in my notes, but I just wanted it quick, short, sweet, and simple. A lot of games I did touch on, you know, like probably the better players on each game and that sort of stuff, but there's so many other players to touch on in this one. Hope you guys enjoy. Really appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in. Again, the week 2 of preseason trials coming up so soon this weekend. So excited to watch that. So we'll review that next Tuesday, hopefully. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Hope you enjoy, boys. Take it easy.